Hello.
Hey guys, we're back with Model Talk.
This is Devin Blackerby.
And Nicole Nance. And this is episode 7.
Yeah. We're here to share photoshoot stories today, so it's going to go all over the place.
I think this is going to be a fun episode.
But this has been heavily requested by several people on our Instagram when we asked for polls. And
so, heads up, this doesn't have a whole lot of direction.
No, we're just going to go everywhere.
And, and I made a note to myself to start this episode out with, if I forgot about you in the shoot and the crazy story, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
A lot. And send them to me, and then I'll be like, oh yeah. And then I'll share them on Instagram.
Also, if I didn't share a shoot story that involved you, I'm sorry. But I genuinely was trying to think of some. And then also, I don't want to share the really shitty ones. So it's sharing a nice, positive, maybe slightly annoying, but not negative story. Yeah. But okay.
Make sure to follow our Instagram because we'll post pictures and stuff that go along with everything.
Yeah.
And our Facebook. Okay, cool. Do you have one you want to start with, or?
Okay. I'll start with my music video shoot.
Okay.
Okay. So, I've shot 3 music videos now. The first 2 I ever did were for the same 2 guys, Ryan and Max. Hello. We'll shout you out. They're both local, I'll say rappers. I don't know if they would categorize themselves any other different way, but they're great to work with. The shooting was interesting. So Ryan came to me through a friend of ours, Jessica, who's also a model, who I'm so sorry I'm blanking on your name, but we'll tag you. She's with Ryan. But he came to me asking for a shoot that they wanted to do for their music video, and they needed a brunette because they already had a blonde. So they were trying to find me. I met up with him in this coffee shop in Vancouver, and we talked about it. And I was actually very surprised because most artists you meet, this goes for any form of art, fashion, photography, blah, blah, blah. It's rare when they approach you with an idea and have it fully thought out. So I was super impressed because he did have it fully thought out. He had every aspect of where they wanted to film, what they wanted to do, what the whole image was, what I would be doing in it, and
that's so helpful.
Yeah, so he had everything really well planned out. Execution didn't go as well, but I was initially really on board because of that, and they were offering to pay. It wasn't a huge amount, but it was something, so I was okay, and it's a cool experience. So the whole concept of they were both, we shot 2 videos, so with their music careers, both of them, when they worked together, they were doing a series of videos where they're slowly doing almost like a mob boss kind of vibe. We were hit women, and then we became the side girls, and then it's gone on and on since I've worked with them. They've done a couple other videos, continuing a strand of videos with the same series though, almost. Okay. So these were the first 2, I believe. So first one we did is we were hit women that were hired by Ryan, which was the main guy, to pick up the other guy and essentially kidnap him and take him to him. That was the whole point of the whole first video. And in between it, there's playing music, there's actual singing, there's blah, 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 blah. So, but me and this girl, Jacqueline, she was super sweet. It was great to work with her. But we basically drove my car out to a weird part of Longview, and then we shot in my car while I was driving with Jacqueline about us doing monologue, talking about picking him up, and we're driving the whole time, and I'm flipping U-turns, and I was kind of, how old was I? I was younger, so I still wasn't amazing at doing a U-turn. So I remember doing it at one point, and everyone being "Whoa!" and I'm yeah, I'm sorry.
Amateur U-turn.
Well, because we're doing it in a part of Longview, Washington, where it's industrial. So there's factories. So there's no real good spot to flip it. So I legit was just flipping it in a street, a busy inner street area, and so we did that a bunch. We they had a drone. We filmed picking up Max from him clearly being passed out from a night before, and we tied him up and put him in the back of my trunk, and then we shot through there's a hole in some older cars that you can take out the if the cup holder part comes out from the middle seat, you can take it out and unzip it, and you can actually see into the trunk. Yeah. So we did that to be able to shoot into the trunk about him, because he was rapping while he was in the back of my car. Oh. But I remember the police came out at one point because we were filming in front of like a factory kind of by an entrance, not a main entrance, like a side one. I remember they came out being like, these factories are just kind of getting nervous, like, what are you guys doing? And I was like, I'm not talking to them. So like Ryan went up and explained it. I remember he like promoted us to them at one point, and I was like, oh my god, not good. But like they were like, whatever, that's fine as long as you guys like move along. So like I think we were like close to wrapping anyway, so we were like, okay, cool. And then we went into Longview, Washington, or other parts of Vancouver, and we're shooting this scene where we were like chasing him, and we had fake guns, and there was a daycare center across the street from this park we were shooting at. So I remember Ryan like ran over and was like, we're shooting a music video, blah, 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 and like had to explain it to everybody so it doesn't look like we're just running. Two women in all black, first off, like black leather, running around with like guns, like chasing some guy. So it's like,
I feel like you could do a whole episode on being in a photo shoot and where you are and how out of place you are.
Well, like, because like we had like fake plastic BB guns, like they
intense.
looked like a real handgun though. And so then we were shooting that, and then it just took a long time. I don't think you realize it takes like a lot of takes, and we were both super hot because it was sunny. And then at one point we like, Max also jumped out of my car at one point, so we had to shoot a scene where he actually like pops my trunk and rolls out, so he actually hits the ground for real in it. And I was like, oh man. Like, and then so there's a lot of stuff that, and this was just like a chunk of the first video, and then there's a lot of reshooting because of lines, and like we did our own makeup and hair, and by the end of it I feel like my hair just kind of looked like trash, but there was no one really to fix it, so I was like, whatever. And then we did that, shot that, finished it. We finished it in like an office space. Okay, so this was all supposed to be in one day. This shooting turned into like 3 days, 3 or 4, because we were supposed to do 2 videos in one day, which if you took a whole day, sure, but it just didn't happen because of time and stuff like that, which is fine. But like also there's a little bit of disorganization, but like it wasn't, I don't necessarily blame it on them. I think I blame it on also other people that they were relying on weren't very helpful. So it's like, well, now we're waiting for another actor, blah blah blah.
There's
so
a lot of that.
So that happened. We shot the second video, which was supposed to be them meeting up with like these mob boss people to sign like a deal or whatever in Kells pub in Portland.
Oh yeah.
In the cigar lounge. That's where we shot it.
Okay.
So we it took a while. We shot a scene of us all driving up in a nice car, and we were all in gowns. And it took a while to do that because it was a busy day and it was trafficy. So we kept having people stop, people walking in front of it for times we were filming. And then we would drive up and do the thing. And so we were acting like we were actual movie people, because we would like be like, we're filming on a set, stop. And so we would stop pedestrian traffic in front of Kells and like be like, stop. And then let us go. Rolled in, shot it a couple different times downstairs because it took a while. Again, we had fake guns, and also like I wasn't 21 yet, but I should not have been allowed in there. And they like kind of fibbed. So sorry, Kells. But
just shooting.
It was during the day for stuff. No one was there. And so we had to shoot that a couple times for things, but I remember every time after I was done with that shoot, I just reeked of cigars because we were in the room.
Yeah.
And he smoked one at one point too as part of the thing. So it looked cool. But I remember just being like, man, I just smell so bad. Like every time after we were finished shooting, and then we had to keep shooting more. So I don't think people understand. Music videos take forever to film. And also there's costume changes. And if it's a low budget, you're doing all your own stuff. So I did all my own hair, all my own makeup, all of my shooting. There's like different videographers for different things, and then they edited different things, and then if you're missing scenes you have to go back later and shoot them. But like it was a process. But both of their music was really good. Like I liked both of them. They have good songs. But I remember playing it in my car like 6 different times. We played it on a CD in my car because I had a CD player. We played it on there a bunch so that he could rap this one part with a drone overhead, but we didn't have a loud enough speaker, so we're using my car speaker. I remember just listening to one of the songs like 6 or 7 times over and over and over again. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can listen to this much longer. But so that's like part of a music video set, is working multiple times, especially if they're shooting in multiple locations. It takes a while. Yeah, like one day it was really ambitious for them to try to do.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it worked out. So
that's good.
But yeah, I have the photos from that. But like, I'm definitely wearing a dress where like you can kind of see my whole butt because there's like sheer paneling. So I was like, no, I'm flashing these families as I'm like walking by them into Kel's to go like do the scene. And I'm like, as we're like getting out of this really nice car, I'm like, oh no.
That's the weirdest part of like on location shooting.
You're flashing people, or not. You're just people are gonna see you doing
like,
weird shit.
Last month, I walked down Alberta Street, which is in Portland, and it's this cute little street with boutiques and
it's
restaurants.
an interesting zone of the
yeah.
That's technically the east side.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's cute, and I'm dressed like Jem from Jem and the Holograms. Like my makeup is I've got like a big square on my face, and I am like full on. I'm carrying blow up instruments, and I'm just walking by myself. Because I parked and I'm walking to where the photographer. That's just like,
parking.
People.
The amount of times you can park and walk in a full fashion outfit, it's like people are just gonna look at you and you have to get used to it. But I remember parking by Kel's and being like, oh god, I gotta park as close as I can because I don't want to walk that far in this thing. And it's like, also it was like the early morning in that part of Portland,
Walk
which
of
is
shame.
Well, it's like the downtown area, so it gets a little sketchy in downtown Portland, especially by Chinatown, which was kind of close to where we were. So I was like, I don't super want to walk alone. Yeah. Like I don't. Also, in this outfit, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah,
like,
that can be awkward. I probably have like 1,000 stories.
So that was shooting a music video. You go for your first one. We'll go back and forth.
Oh man, I don't. Where do I start? Well, I'm gonna start with one of my working with animals photo shoots because I've got to do a lot of that, and I love working with animals. If you want to improve your modeling, work with animals. Anyways, so I'm going to talk about the one where my cat's meowing as we speak about animals. It's appropriate. So the most recent one that I did involved 2 owls, a hawk, and 2 falcons. And I am terrified of birds. Like, absolutely terrified. If you ask me like what one of my worst fears is, it's birds. And
just birds in general or specific birds?
Well, little birds are the worst.
Ooh. Okay, so like a finch would be really scary.
I don't know. Actually, like I was scared of the owls. And
because owls are big and
I was afraid of the
can
hawk.
be mean.
Yeah, I think when it comes to birds, it's all birds. The little ones are the ones that freak me out the most, like out and about. If I were to see a hawk flying, I'd be like, ooh, beautiful. But little ones.
This just makes me think of the America's Next Top Model episode where they put tarantulas on them.
Oh, I would totally do that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't think I could do. I think I could. It depends where they placed it. If they put it in like my hair, I'd probably be like, okay. If they put it on a part of my body where it can't get to my face that quickly, I'd be like, okay. But like fine. Otherwise, I think it's just because it's so big. Not necessarily the fact that it's a spider, but the fact that it's as big as like my hand. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't love that. But,
well, I don't know.
But continue.
Weird. So I also did one. I don't know. I want to talk about these two separately, but I did one with snakes, and I had like a 12-foot python, and then like a couple
snake,
little.
Though? Was that a banana snake or a python?
It's a python. Oh. It's a banana python, I believe, is like what they're referred to. The
they're
big one that like
docile.
Britney Spears had.
Yeah, those are bananas. I love snakes.
But okay, so the one with the birds, I was terrified. The way the shoot came about was I bought this super sale wedding dress that I saw at this wedding boutique. I used to work there a little bit and help out and stuff, and I saw it, and it was this designer, Panovius, who I absolutely love his work. I used to work or be in the wedding industry and sell wedding dresses, and so I saw this dress, I fell in love with it. It's absolutely amazing, and I was like, I have to shoot this. I don't really love doing bridal because like we've talked about before with lifestyle, it's a lot of smiling, it's a lot of like fake acting natural, and so I wanted something moody and like dark. And so I brought the idea to a photographer. It's Stephanie Joy Photography. She's amazing, super sweet. And so her and I got together on the concept, and we brought in a bunch of different people. She was the one that suggested doing birds. And I wasn't going to say no, because what a cool opportunity, but also, like, I was terrified.
Well, also, if they can provide the birds, you're like, sure. Like, because as long as it's not your responsibility to try to get it, I don't know. I guess that's my thought. I'd be like, well, cool, you do birds. I don't know where to get them, but it's got to be up to you.
So she did get the birds, and I want to give a shout out to the falconer, because so when you're working with animals, it's really important, at least to me, if you're an animal lover, to know that the animals being brought to set are well taken care of. I don't want somebody to like bring like a bird that's kept in bad conditions just for the sake of it being in photos.
Oh,
That bothers me.
Yeah.
I just want to know that they're happy. And this place, the Falconer, is a rescue for exotic birds.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the way that he cared about them and the way that he approached us with them and taught us about their safety. Anyways, it was an amazing experience. But it was like the camera would go down and I literally, like, my face would drop and I'd start shaking and then it would go back up. But it was such a crazy experience. Like, there were 2 owls there. The owls were the moodiest of the birds, I think.
That seems to fit their vibe.
Yeah, and I held them, and they were super heavy. I mean, okay, they're birds, so they're not that heavy. I can't remember exactly. They're like 6 to 12, 14 pounds.
Like a cat.
Something. Yeah, they're like the
like
biggest breed of owls.
Like a house kitty.
And they just look at you like they're gonna kill you. So I was very scared of them the whole time. I was afraid. Like, he told us not to move really quickly in front of them, which makes perfect sense. But because he told me to, all of a sudden that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, you panic about it. Yeah.
But they are kind of like cats. Like, you can scratch their beaks and they like press into it while you pet them.
That's so cute.
But the coolest part of that shoot, I actually got really comfortable with the little falcons, but the hawk. So this particular hawk was in a nationwide Sprite commercial.
Whoa, that's cool.
And I'll put a link to it from
Does
YouTube.
she have an Instagram?
Probably.
That's fun.
And we were doing shots where I'm sitting in this chair and the falcon is sitting behind me on the chair and they have it fly over my shoulder.
That's like, cool, but like terrifying.
Terrifying because the talons are massive, and like the hawk was really moody with his handler, and his handler at one point, like the hawk like yelled at him, and the handler turned to us and was like, "Don't worry, he's only mad at me," as if he could like communicate with this bird. So we know this bird is pissed at his handler, and he's performing. He's doing great. This guy is throwing around mouse parts. Like, we found a little, like, mouse bladder or something. But, I mean, it's what the birds eat.
I mean, sure, but, like, in theory, it's a little gross to think about.
There's this awesome shot, and we're hoping to get these images published, so I only have a few I can show, and I don't know if this is one of them, but the bird is, like, taking flight, and it's smacking me in the face with its wing. And I'm proud because I totally held my pose, and it looks really cool, but
you got smacked in the face.
I got smacked in the face, and it didn't feel great because they are strong. Oh my gosh. That was a really cool experience. Nothing super crazy happened, but I got over my fears for that one.
Cool.
I think. Yeah.
All right.
That one didn't have as much detail as yours.
Yeah, but I think you vividly remember the experiences where you're like, oh man, this is going long.
Yeah, that's true. The really long ones.
Yeah, is interesting.
Yeah.
But those guys were really cool. Like, nothing against them, but I would hope they would even admit that it's like, that didn't go as great as it could have gone initially.
That can happen to anybody.
And so they could understand why I was slightly annoyed with some of those things. But after a while, you're like, well, I'm going to finish it. Mm-hmm. Like, I think they were really surprised that I was like, well, no, I'm going to finish shooting with you. I'm I'm not going to abandon you. Like, and be like in the middle of your video, you lost one of your girls. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Like, rewrite it.
Yeah, like, no. I'm going to keep working with you. I just might be like a little irritated one day, but the next day I'll be fine. Like, that's just how it's going to go.
It's like any job. Like, you get tired.
You can have your moments where you're really tired because you've been doing stuff all day.
Yeah.
Especially, like, if I've been driving in circles all day. Like, I don't know. Okay. I feel like this was my first, like, official magazine shoot, although I never saw it. They never sent it to me like they were supposed to. It's called, like, Lumiere. It's like a boudoir-y, bridal-y, lifestyle-y magazine. And it was through my agency, but it was, like, to do boudoir, essentially. Bridal boudoir is how they pitched it, but it really just turned into boudoir. Boudoir and like some bridal-y stuff on the beach at Cannon Beach in Oregon. And then it was also partially, this magazine did this thing where they did photography classes. So they would invite like 20 to 15 photographers out there and let them learn how to shoot with the guy who shoots for it.
Those can be long.
So that's what it was. So we met I remember I wasn't going to drive. I didn't want to meet them there. So I remember we carpooled. So I met the publisher there. The publisher and the photographer came to my house and we carpooled together from my house to Cannon Beach. And it was a drive, you know. So we'd get there.
Oh, what, like about 2 hours?
It's like
roughly
2-ish
traffic.
from there. So, and this is from my old house. It was just like 2 hours. So we get there and we had some really good talks in the car, not gonna lie. And then get there and we're in like a weird kind of touristy spot at Cannon Beach. I don't exactly remember where we were. But
was it with the big haystack rock?
it was by it, but we were in like some random parking lot that was right by the beach. So everyone was parking there, so it was packed. And I remember we just like took a section of it, made it ours, and that's where we did hair and makeup. And like literally just took over like a couple of spots, or not even spots, like on the side of a sidewalk too. And that's where I did hair and makeup. And they had all the wardrobe there for me too. So this was to me like one of my like not first, but one of like a big shoot that I knew was gonna get published. Yeah. So I did that. It was really cool, and it was like cold, and these were all people from Southern California. Like at least the magazine was from there. So the girl, the lead producer, editor was from there, and I think the photographer was too. I can't remember, or at least the main guy. But all the other people were from Oregon that I could remember. So everyone knew it'd be cold. So like I brought stuff because I knew it'd be cold, and I don't think they realized Cannon Beach was like freezing at the time were shooting.
Fun fact: if you've never been to the beaches of Oregon, I love them, but they're not warm.
It was so cold. I think we shot in summer, but so it was warm at some parts, but it was still freezing otherwise because it was so windy. So it was super cold.
It snows on the beaches here, which was trippy. Yeah, that was cool to see.
So we get into wardrobe, I get into wardrobe and I'm walking, and this is more a shoot about how I like almost froze to death. So I'm like in.
I have two of them.
Because I'm in boudoir.
Yeah.
I'm in not a lot of clothing. And I'm shooting, and so we started initially with some bridal stuff. I had like some white dresses and like bouquets, and we were shooting a bunch. I remember in the wind, I was standing in the wind, and it was so cold, and I was just getting shot in the face with wind. And I remember trying to be elegant, and there's
keep
like
your eyes open.
Yeah, and there was like 6 different photographers, I think, because they only had 6-ish ones there doing the photography class too. And I remember walking around, and in between, everyone was giving me jackets. I just like stand there freezing, and I changed on the beach in like a little bush we found, like a bush alcove we found, and that's where I changed and blah blah blah. Typical. And everyone on staff was really great because they knew I was like suffering the whole time. So I was so cold. At one point, I've posted it. I'm in a slip. Like a long one, but I'm walking around. I remember I was walking in circles back and forth on this beach for them to get shots of me, but I remember being so cold. I remember every time I would turn away from the camera, I would like let my face drop and be like, oh my god, I'm so cold. And then I'd turn the corner and like turn it right back on, and I'd be like, oh my god, I'm dying, because I literally thought I was gonna freeze because I was in nothing, and so it was such cold weather. Everyone was freezing. I remember they like wrapped me in so many things, and I like ran back to the car and like changed and put clothes on, and they turned the heater on in the car for me.
Well, like your hands get so cold you can't change.
Yeah, and
Did
then
that happen to you?
No, it was close, I think. And then, but then I had this weird thing where I think I got like not heat stroke, but something like where I warmed up too quickly, so then I got sick because we were on the way home. I like made them pull over and I like threw up.
Huh, interesting.
Out of the car. I like got it. I was like, you need to get over right now. And he's like, why? I'm like, I need to go throw up. Yeah. And then they told me this story about how they had a model throw up on set so many times that they were concerned about her just because she like kept getting sick. And I was like, I'm not going to do that because I was like a one and done. But I was like, I still need to go through it.
Yeah.
But like,
that's crazy.
That was the worst set because they didn't know, so they weren't prepared. Yeah. So it was freezing cold, and we were shooting stuff that like you should not be shooting freezing cold things in. And I never saw the images. I remember giving them my thing to send me stuff. I mean, I found the images later through Instagram, but I never even really know if it got published. I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah. It got published in it, but like I never saw the magazine. Like I never saw any of it. I got paid for it though. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I got paid for it, but that was a while ago though. So I truly don't. I think I got paid for it, but I remember being like, "Oh man, this is a process."
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback that story with a cold story. I did a photo shoot with Tom Lepton, the photographer, and Maddie Iverson, who's the designer of Ofield.
Oh, for Ofield,
yeah, Ofield Apparel. And we got this like amazing idea. We were gonna go up to Mount Hood, and we were gonna go shoot in Timberline, around Timberline, and in the snow. So we get up there, and we got up there at like 5 a.m., like some crazy early time. And
Jesus.
Yeah, so we're going around Timberline because life happens and a snowstorm hits, like a blizzard hits Mount Hood. This was this year in like January.
Oh, geez.
And so we go inside Timberline and we're shooting around inside it. And Maddie had made this amazing red wedding dress. It was stunning. It was actually just used in a shoot a couple weeks ago. So images of it will start circulating again. But, and so inside we were just in the dress and she made like some veils and stuff and it was awesome. And then it was like time to go outside. And it was sideways snow, blizzarding, like fucking freezing, but I knew it would be worth it. Like, I just knew it. I knew this was gonna be worth it. I had like my fake Uggs on under my dress, because there's just no way in hell you're doing heels. It would
also, they're not gonna see them.
No, not at all.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, so we're in the parking lot because we can't get anywhere else, and I'm standing on like this big snow embankment where we literally have to check before I step to make sure it's not gonna like
fall through.
Oh, and we just want the background of the mountain. And we're out there and it is so cold. My hair is like plastered to the side of my face because of the snow. And I will tell you guys though, Ofield jackets are incredibly warm.
Well, because she uses Pendleton wool, right?
I couldn't believe it because they are so fashionable and the details. And you think it's just going to be like, I would imagine like a Chanel designer winter coat is not particularly warm. No, I don't know. I've never tried on them.
Yeah, it depends.
But Maddie's coats were so freaking warm and beautiful that I could put the hood up and I'd like warm up. Anyways, it was insane. And her dress was like, I think it was like machine washable. Anyways, it looked perfect when I saw it last week, but it was crazy. And then, so there was all of that. I think Tom was about to like die. He was so freaking cold.
Did he not have like jackets?
No, he did not prepare.
That sounds like you
he
tell
ended
him
up
sorry.
he ended up wearing one of my coats on top of his other coats. Thankfully, I brought gloves and like those hand warmers and stuff.
That's so funny.
But then, so like it was a long morning, tiring. We're exhausted. We're freezing. We ate food while we were there, thankfully, because we get in the car to go down the mountain and it's just stopped. So there was an accident halfway down the mountain because of the snow, and we sat in the car for over an hour hanging out and talking. We got to know each other really well. It was fun, but it was so cold. And that wasn't even like my coldest photo shoot memory, which is funny because the photo shoot I'm thinking of, it shouldn't have been cold, but yeah, it was a lot. I think the photos are really pretty. It was worth it, but I don't know about you, but my nose runs like crazy when I'm cold.
Yeah, you gotta sniffle.
Yeah, constantly, and then like watery eyes.
Yeah, okay. I've never been in the snow. I've been close. So another one I have, this is one of my favorite shoots. I think it is my favorite, but I don't want to say that to like hurt anybody's feelings. But this is
tops.
It's up there because it's the shoot I did with Wendy in the dress she named after me, like in the Devon dress. So it was with Wendy Ohlendorf, who she's not really a designer here anymore, but I love her to death and she made the coolest things. But it was in December, so it could have been snowing. So I remember it was in the 30s. I think it was like 33 or 34. So we started shooting in a greenhouse. So initially it wasn't too bad because it was kind of warm. But I'm in a gown, right? And like the skirt was kind of okay because there was some tulle, but otherwise I'm in like, she took a vintage scarf and made it a top. So
cool.
There's no, I'm freezing.
There's no like,
and I had my jacket on over it. So every time we would move, I'd put my jacket back on or like shift. So I remember at one point standing in the bathroom at the greenhouse because they had the heater on and just being like, ugh, because it was so cold. And so I was trying to get warm. And so that one wasn't as bad in the greenhouse. I was still really cold. And we changed outfits, and then I would shoot outside too in this greenhouse, like in the, like the field, and it was freezing. Also, this is the first time I'd done a real shoot with Wendy, a big one, which to me she was a huge designer at the time, and then the first time I worked with Tracy for a big time, and she gave me a giant hairpiece, which
Tracy
was huge.
Schultz.
Yes. Yeah. A huge hairpiece, so it was hard to like move with because it was large. In the shooting, it doesn't look weird, but it's massive.
Your spatial awareness is way off when you have a headpiece on.
It was massive, yeah. And so then we went to shoot in an it was like kind of like a courtyard, but there was no public access because it was gated off, but it had all these old like wine vines that had died and grown on it. So we took a picture next to that, and it was really cool. But at that point, I remember Tom Bomey was testing the lighting.
Tom Bomey's a photographer.
Yeah.
I always forget that we might have people outside of.
Yeah, he's a photographer, and so he was testing the lighting, so I was just in my jacket, and I was like, that one's called freezing model. Like, I'm dying right now. It's so cold, because it was like the 30s. It was not, and I'm in a gown, and I'm in heels, or I think I maybe put boots on after, but I stayed in heels the whole time. And so I'm shooting against this wall, and it looked really cool, but it was freezing. And I remember after, that whole team was so nice. They like held up my jacket for me while I'm against this wall, and I changed outside in the freezing cold. But I was like, so cold at that point, because it could have snowed, but it didn't, and I was like, oh man.
I think I was just looking at that shoot the other day. I was looking for pictures to post.
You used it.
Yeah,
that's the one.
That's so funny.
It's so cold.
I love when you can leave your leggings on under a dress, though. I pretty much always have leggings in my model bag. So like with the Maddie shoot, I wore leggings under it because you couldn't see them.
That's a good thought. I've never thought about that. I'm just like, whatever, it's fine.
The picture that I saw looks really good from that shoot.
They're great. They're like some of my favorite photos. But yeah, like if I was ever to like print photos of myself, I feel like it'd be those. Yeah, like, because those look really cool.
That's another thing. Let's tangent really quick. We've talked about this before.
Printing photos of yourself.
Yeah, but not on the podcast. Like I'm just gonna say it. Like I want to because I'm proud of them and I like looking at them. But then I'm like, this is weird, and I don't want pictures of myself everywhere.
Because it almost looks conceited.
Yeah.
I've thought about that too. I was like, I should have some of these like printed and put them around. And I was like, is that weird? And then I was like, maybe, because maybe it comes off conceited. And then I think I was like, I don't care at one point. But the only images I have one printed, but my head's not in it because they cut it off of the head.
That's artsy.
So it's artsy, so you can't tell it's me really. And then otherwise, I've only printed stuff from like when I'm in multiple shots with another person. So like behind the scenes photos, I have a bunch of with other models, and then I have some from the shoot I did with Flitz because we're together. Yeah. Because I'm like, that's me with like someone else. Like, but
they just happen to be professional photos.
Yeah, I don't have any like, I've never printed any that are like just, I think, me, which I kind of want to do now.
It's funny, like, as we're talking about this, I look over and I have my Tom Lupton calendar hanging that has me on
Tom
it.
Lupton.
Right. And then I look and I have my snake photo shoot picture up top because I thought it turned out really cool.
It does look really cool.
And then,
but you can't tell that's you.
Engagement shoot. Yeah, that's right. It is my back, and it's more the like artistic side of it, and not my back of the shot and the snake. But yeah, I know it's weird. Like I want to put them up because you're like, it's to me, it's like art. It's a lot of work, and I see everything that went into it. Yeah. So I'm gonna do black and whites in my bathroom, in our master bathroom.
Do it.
Because I'm gonna paint the walls black.
I think it'd be cute.
I think so too. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna let like
also, it's your master bathroom. How many people are gonna go in there?
Yeah.
This is for you guys.
So I'm gonna let Zach pick his favorites because that's another thing. It's like which one.
Have you talked to him about what his favorite photos of you are? I talked to Sam about this the other day, and he picked ones I was like very surprised at the ones he picked.
Yeah. We have this conversation a lot, and it's funny. Like, I'll do like multiple shoots, and then all of a sudden I'll do one, and his
they'll really
background changes.
They'll really like it.
Really likes that one. Yeah.
Sam showed me like the top 3 photos of me that he likes, and they're just like ones I would never expect him to pick. Yeah. Because I guess they're not ones that I would pick, so I'm just like, I don't necessarily like them. Except for there's one though that there's one that is for me and my mom in Palm Springs. It's just me smiling at dinner because my mom has this thing of taking photos of me when we're at dinner together. Aww. But it's just that one, and he's like, that's a picture I saw of you and knew I like really, really liked you. Aww, when I was looking through your Facebook, and I was like, that's not even like a professional photo. Like, why do you like that? That's not even like a professional model photo. Like, why do you like that? I don't not like it, but I don't love it.
You want to know why? Like, I want a
I do
of why.
There's this is coming out later now, but the images I posted from the Art of the Makeup shoot, the one where I'm in the red and I'm just looking down, but you really can't even see my face that much. You can see my weird part though that she did. He's like, that's like my second favorite one. I was like, why? Like, why do you like these?
Explain.
I don't understand.
Like, I was thinking about that when I was prepping for this episode. Like, I'm always shocked by the photos that get the most attention online because they are never the ones I like the most.
I don't think I always am, but there are some that shock me. Yeah.
Not always, but most of the time. Enough for me to say always in an exaggeratory way. But
I guess that just doesn't happen with me.
I want to make Zach pick his favorite 3. I have a good idea, but I'll give him something to do.
There you go. Okay.
Let's see. Other memories. I kind of started a little category on my list of like weird places I've had my makeup and hair done.
Okay.
One of which was a brewery. It's not there anymore. I think it was the Portland Brewing Company.
Oh.
It was Amanda McGahee, who's a phenomenal makeup artist, and she did my hair and makeup like at a table. We ordered food and beer, and she like did my makeup. It was a collaboration, and so we grabbed a beer beforehand while we talked about the concept. Some of my favorite photos I have done ever. It's a Dubar dress, and it's right outside of the brewery. One of the fastest shoots ever. But yeah, that was fun, especially because the makeup was really out there, really intense.
I'm trying to think now.
I had mine done outside of Latrell Falls, which, is that how you say it? Latrell? It's a waterfall in Oregon. I think
don't
it's a
hike,
French.
so.
Oh, well, you're from here.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's a waterfall, and there's like outside of, so I'm from Pennsylvania where we don't have like waterfalls. So when you get to a waterfall in like the gorge, there's a big parking lot with like a trailhead sign, and sometimes there's bathrooms and picnic tables, and so that's where we were. And Latrell Falls is a really popular waterfall. And so I had my hair and makeup done on a park bench there. And that was, I don't know, got a lot of looks. I really love that shoot a lot too.
I'm trying to think now. Well, I think the weirdest spot has got to be the at the side of the beach in Cannon that I just said. Otherwise, it's mostly been in a studio or like a hair salon or places where a show is. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm trying to think
where makeup makes more sense.
If there's any weird spots that I've had makeup.
Those are the two big ones that came to mind. You're definitely sometimes like the makeup artist is put in a tough position of trying to find a good spot if you're just on location, even if it is inside because of lighting. But
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of things. I'm trying to go through now. If I come up with one.
Yeah, we can always come back to it. We don't have a big direction. We've talked about before, like going out and shoot makeup and how funny that can be. I have a shoot that I really liked doing.
Oh, I guess Angela's house.
Yeah, Angela's house.
Angela washed my hair in her kitchen sink. Thanks, Angela.
Really?
When we did a fire and ice shoot, and we only got the ice part from the photographer. She forgot to send us the fire part. Oh. But she basically put like gel in my hair and made it like plastic. And so she like and painted it. So she washed it out in her sink.
That's cute.
And then we changed to the next look. So I guess that
was nice of you.
That happened. But yeah. Otherwise, I feel like it's mostly been, places where it would make sense besides like Cannon, where it's on the side of a beach. Like, I don't know, but or like in people's houses when you're like shooting at their studio, or like I've done my makeup in like for Flitz, I did like my makeup in his apartment, like before we started shooting.
Some makeup artists have home studios because it just is more convenient for on location stuff. Like Charity, who was it? I think we were just. No, sorry, Charity. You were one of Devin's obsessions on last week's episode. Yeah. She's got an in-house studio that's cute.
Yeah, it's either that or it's in like I'm in a couple of shops. Like when I've done stuff for like a shop, it'd be like we'd do the makeup in the store before, but that's all I can think of.
I was trying to think of a shoot that had a really good like story around it, and one that came to mind. So everybody in Portland fashion does know Anne Bocci, and Anne Bocci Boutique.
Lovely lady.
Anne is amazing. She's sweet and kind and supports all things Portland art, but her business fell victim, I guess, to construction and stuff like that, like the city redoing a bunch of business fronts and having all this construction.
I remember seeing that shoot.
Yeah, and so she had scaffolding outside her building. And it was completely blocking her entrance. All of the parking out in front was blocked and everything. So on a whim, it was Tom Upton was the photographer, myself, Elena McKinnon, who's another local model, Vanessa Fraulein, who's she used to live in Portland. She was a designer. Anne Bouchi's Boutique was the location. Angela Foster did hair and makeup. And we just used the scaffolding outside of her store to do a photo shoot, like, in fashion, overcoming like circumstances, and it was just super fun. And it was really funny because as we're shooting, Tito, who's the producer of Fashion X, comes walking just down the sidewalk.
He lives in that area.
And so we put him in like a construction outfit and handed him tools, and he was in the shoot with us.
That's funny.
And it was just fun, and it was like a big like, fuck you, Portland, like be more mindful of small businesses. I don't actually know what they were doing, but I know it was a huge hindrance for a long time. And then they moved the scaffolding the next day.
I just thought of a place. So I did a shoot for like a random artist. She was like it's not really a boutique. It was a brand. It's called Babushka.
Okay.
It's not here though, so I don't know. It was through the photographer. Like she sent the photographer all her stuff for us to shoot, and we shot in like Northeast in like under a random overpass or next to a building. So I had my makeup done like on the side of a street. Fun. For that, or in a car too. I was in like the person's car sometimes, but we were also just on the side of the street, like changing in cars, getting makeup done, and like
the car is hard.
You gotta get ready to change in a car.
Yeah.
I think I surprised Tom Lupton with how well I could change in a car, because on our set I was like, I'm prepared to change in a car.
A seasoned model I feel like can
change in a car. Like
I could probably get out of a pantsuit and into a complicated outfit without ever being like exposed. That's not true.
Oh, I'm going to be exposed, but it's hopefully going to not be enough to alarm people around me, or I'm going to try to put stuff up.
Sometimes there isn't even like a car or something. Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't care.
Actually, like a tip, what I started putting in my model kit is I have this really like billowy, it's like shapeless dress. You know what I mean? And I've started throwing that in, and it's sleeveless, and I'll just throw that on, and then I'll slip my outfit on under it, and I'll just pull the other outfit up under it.
You're so smart.
Because it's like a tent, basically.
That's nice, yeah.
And so I've started bringing that along.
Okay.
But
chill.
Weird places you've ever changed. That could be a whole... I just changed in a porta potty. Like...
Parking garage.
I changed in a parking garage. On roofs of parking garages. But the porta potty was awful. I was just with Bill Lynn, who owns Cobalt Studios. We were just getting together to do a fun athletic shoot at a field, but everything was closed, including the bathrooms. And it was like a really visible area, and my only option was the porta potty. But I love those shots, so I'll take it.
I think parking garage is like maybe the weirdest one. Parking garage, or literally just out in public too. Yeah. Literally just having someone hold up a jacket, like I just said. Like I think that's also just happened to me several times, where I'm just like, I find a corner, or I have people make a corner, and I'm like, I'm changing. Like, sorry, this is just happening. We're in public, and I really don't care. I need to change.
Yeah.
Okay, another fun shoot that just happened to me at Cobalt.
Oh yeah, your first Cobalt shoot.
Yeah, so Angela was initially hair and makeup lead, but she had a little bit of like a family emergency, so she just did my hair. So she's our hair artist still, but we had to have Renee step in for makeup, and so we ended up waiting a little bit. So I like talked to Alex a bunch, who's shopped the luggage cart. She's a stylist, but that was really fun. But Renee brought her daughter just because of circumstances, and her daughter is so flippin' cute. She just like hung out with us the whole time and like talked to me, and like she did shoot with me too. Like we just posted that image a little while ago, but it'll go up on my page soon. I was just waiting for more images, but she was so cute and adorable to have on set. And I had never worked with Renee before, so that was the first time me getting makeup done by her. Because I just like, she's been a dresser for me a bunch of times, or I've seen her at events, but I've never like gotten makeup done by her. So that was really cute.
Her daughter's really cute.
She was so cute.
I've done ballet with her daughter before on set.
She has so much energy.
She does. I think her name's Lorelai.
Yes, it is. Lorelai. She's adorable.
It is fun on sets where it's like a collaboration, and there's an extra person that just kind of brings some fun to it.
She was so cute.
And like little kids can be that sometimes. I love having little kids on set that are really into it, and I like not running around and being crazy, but like some of them like watch you like you're like they're looking at like a princess or something, you know?
Yes.
Like a lot of brides, like little kids will look at them like walk by on their way to the church or whatever, and they just like think they're looking at a Disney princess. Anyways, yeah, I'm trying to think. I really like working with animals, and those are some of my most memorable shoots. I've done snakes, a wolf, the birds, and then a Doberman, which was super fun. I grew up with a Doberman, so I absolutely love the dogs. They're gorgeous, and this was Reggie. He was only a year old, which means has no idea how fucking strong he is.
Reggie.
And Reggie's a show dog, and Reggie is a good looking dog, and his owners brought him with, he had like one of those really badass spike collars.
Oh, sick.
And we were on the streets of Portland, and you better believe people got out of our way. Like, you know how when you're shooting on location and people will walk through the shots and stuff? Or
I've never had anyone do that.
Really?
No.
I have a funny picture from the same shoot of someone riding their bike through it, and the shot is I'm perfectly in focus, and the bike is like blurred, and I just look annoyed.
I feel like whenever I'm shooting outside, it's usually pretty clear, like, you should move around it.
Yeah, but some people just don't.
I guess I've just never been in a super high traffic area.
Yeah,
besides
this was high traffic.
Besides the Kells thing, but we like stopped people because clearly
Yeah.
they would have not stopped. But
Well, we didn't have to stop people because the Doberman was with
Yeah.
us. People just were like, and he's a big
well,
pup.
Dobermans are
They're scary looking.
They're scary looking.
They're sweet though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was trying to think of some favorite shoots.
I have another favorite.
Yeah.
It's a shoot I did with Coley Wright, who actually just got nominated for PSFA, so that's good for him. But he's more LA based now, but he goes back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a really unique way of shooting. I don't know how to describe it besides like it's just kind of raw.
Okay.
And it's cool. So we did a shoot in LA, and I just look like a lizard almost. That's how I describe it. To me, I just look like a lizard alien thing, and it was very like streetwear, but it was like deserty, and it was just so cool. And also he was so fun. So working with him, he has a lot of fun energy. He has a whole team behind him too. But like I remember shooting with them, and I just like loved the images so hard. And it was like they have to be in my book because they were so cool. But like to me, that was just really fun because it was like something it was really out of my comfort zone for shooting, and I just loved them so much. And I'll pull them up so you can look at them. But like they were just really cool, and I like adored them so much.
I love when a shoot like where you're like kind of uncertain about the outcome because maybe it's your first time working with a photographer, or maybe you can't see the vision in the outfit. Like sometimes I think I look kind of mismatched and weird, but I know I don't know what I'm talking about, and then you see the pictures and you're like, wait, these are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like those a lot. One of my favorite shoots was with a Seattle model, Jessica Boyle, who to me is like a real supermodel. I absolutely love her.
Yeah.
Super sweet. And so we did a shoot together. She came down from Seattle, and she brought dresses from Lisa Marie, who's a designer up in Seattle, and she makes like
I remember these images.
stunning gowns. And these ones would basically look like clouds. And we went out and shot on the Tillamook Crossing Bridge, and we shot inside Cobalt, and it was probably one of my favorite shoots ever. And a big reason for that, so when I grew up in theater and acting, anytime you would act with somebody who was just better than you, because there's always someone better than you, it would level you up. You would have no choice but to get on their level, or you knew you would look bad. And that's how this shoot felt, in the most like supportive way possible. And it just was amazing. And then like it took really fun turns, and we ended up pulling like the bed from Cobalt out onto the psych wall, and we were having like a girls sleepover in gowns, like throwing popcorn, and it was super fun.
Nice.
I'll definitely post a picture from that.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool.
Super fun.
I mean, that's all I can think of
Yeah.
at the moment.
I have so many.
And it's hard when you ask for that because there's literally a billion.
Yeah.
So it's more just picking through it for like good ones.
And then I know like some of my favorite shots.
Yeah.
But the shoot was pretty much standard.
Yeah, exactly. Like nothing was weird.
I did a shoot recently with the photographer Pedro, who's Pedro on the World. Really, really talented photographer from Brazil, but we did a lifestyle shoot on the beach for Jeep, and Amber Nicotra was there, and I met this other local model, Nate, who was super cool. Really
was this
young,
like a
brand
paid
new.
thing for Jeep?
No, this was Pedro was trying to get signed, and this shoot got him signed.
That was sick.
So yeah,
cool.
He's getting up there, but Amber has a really sweet Jeep, and we drove it on Gearhart Beach.
Oh, cool.
And we just whipped it around on the sand. I like when you get to drive on the beach. But we did like how you did like the driving shots and stuff. We had to do that.
These take forever.
Yeah. Pedro was in a car in front of us out of the sunroof. And then I was driving the
It's
Jeep.
always kind of janky.
Yeah.
Like
I was like maybe 3 feet away from the Audi that was in front of us driving Pedro along, who was another local model, Carl.
They literally just put the camera on my dash and like held it there.
Yeah.
To get some of the shots of me and Jacqueline talking, and I was like, this is gonna fall. Like I was so worried about it. But yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, obsessions.
Obsessions.
Cool. What do you got?
Where did I write them down? Oh, let's see. Obsessions. Well, I mean, this one's kind of boring, but I'm really obsessed with my hammock right now. I bought a hammock.
You have a hammock?
Yeah.
Oh.
I bought a hammock for the backyard.
Cute.
And I love it. I'm out there at like 11:30 at night reading.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Okay.
Hammock life. Get one.
Hammock life. I guess mine's Renee. Hi, Renee Makeup. Because I've never worked with her before, and she was really fun. And
You're on a trend of obsessing over makeup artists.
Well, because these are ones I've never worked with before.
Yeah.
I mean...
Makeup artists are some of the hardest working people I know.
Yeah.
And
Also
super talented.
Very creative people, too.
And very resourceful.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh shit, I left all of my foundation at home. No worries. I'm going to use eyeshadow, and you would never know.
Yeah, it like works out really well.
Yeah. It's always fun to work with someone new.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
guys.
thanks for listening to us ramble.
Yep.
And
bye.
Follow us on Instagram at Model Talk
Podcast PDX, and then subscribe or
review. Tell people about us.
Share.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.